Welcome to MOTORVAULT Vehicles for Enthusiasts. I'm Josh, and we bring to you a 1933 Ford half-ton pickup hot rod. If you guys love the content that we make, give us a like, follow, and a subscribe, because you're going to see a lot more cars like this coming onto the channel. And this one in particular looks phenomenal, and it's gold metallic paint with the gold flake all over it. You'll see a lot more inside. But this is a classic steel body hot rod with a period style 1950s, 1960s look, but it's got enough modern parts in it for great drivability and good cruising. 1930s hot rods have a great place in American culture, especially automotive culture. Where it all truly began was right after World War II in the mid to late 1940s. The war got done, the country was feeling good, and everyone still had a bunch of old cars from before the war because there were no cars really built in the early 40s. So what started happening is there was a lot of leftover parts, and there were cars that were cheap. So what happened? You had cars like this, they'd pull the engines out of them, they would put hopped up V8s or straight sixes in them, they'd go to town, have some fun, stance them, chop the top, whatever it may be, custom paint jobs. And that was the essence of hot rodding back in the late 40s, early 50s, and carried on for plenty of decades, and obviously to this day today. But this is a very traditional style build. It's got a nice rake to it. It's got a very pretty paint job. It has a small block V8 manual transmission and not much else. Manual gearbox, manual steering, manual braking. This car is raw, it's fun. And I think we need to take a look and see what's hiding under the hood. And no, it is not a Chevrolet small block, which you typically see under these hot rods. Under the hood, we've got a Ford 302 small block with comp cams. It's got a nice amount of a little bit of go fast goodies on it, but nothing too crazy. Reliable small block from the manufacturer of the vehicle, because back in that day, and back actually really hot rodding over the last multiple decades, people put whatever engines they want in these cars, and so many times they are not from the manufacturer of that vehicle. And with the Ford having a Ford small block, that's pretty cool. And it's so cool looking in here because unlike today's cars, you pop a hood, either front or sports cars, some of them backwards. Side entry on the hood, very, very, very cool aspect to it. And on top of that, then you see that beautiful exposed gold chassis. And you can work on these engines, because look at that, so much space. I could just put my hands wherever I want in this thing. That's awesome. One of the most iconic bits about hot rods is pinstriping. And this one's got a nice little bit right up here on the front. Very understated, but very classy. And another fact about this car, which is quite interesting, yes, it's a 33 Ford, but for you Ford purists, you might look and be like, why is there a 32 front grille on it? It's because it does have a 32 front grille on a 33, and I think personally it looks even better than the 33 grille. That's my take on that. One really, really cool factor about this car is the interior, because for one, it's extremely simple, but there's some hidden goodies. One of the hidden goodies right here, you see the modern gauges in front of you. You got voltage, you got speedo, fuel. Then you look up, and you got your second console. RPM, oil pressure, water temp, which is really cool because a lot of cars today, everything's just right in front of you on a screen. Now on this, you have two completely different set of gauges with a nice brushed finish, which I personally really love. But one thing that is not hidden in this interior is the amount of massive amounts of gold flake, which I personally think is really, really cool and unique. And it adds a very complex nature to the gold metallic on the outside. Just this sparkle flake is something to behold, and if you're out in the sun, it will catch you very quickly. So many of these hot rods from back in the 20s and 30s were not really 20s or 30s cars. They are modern built 2010s, 2000s cars that are fiberglass, or they are replica steel cars. This is a true, real steel 1933 Ford, which adds to the credibility of being a pure and true hot rod, which I love. The bed on this looks great, especially with that glorious wood finish. And yes, they even added metallic flake in the clear coating, which I think is really cool. You've got your gas can back here as well, and what you think is a cooler, that's not a cooler. That is where you hide the battery. The battery is sitting right in that box. That box is locked down onto the bed. Very, very cool hidden touch with this Ford. Hot rodding with style, with the tailgate down, and you've even got bullet taillights to add to it. This is a very, very cool piece of hot rodding history, and it's got one heck of a paint job. I hope you guys like us checking out this 1933 Ford. If you did, give us a like, give us a follow, and a subscribe. If you are not already, subscribe to MOTORVAULT's channel. We look forward to seeing you guys back in further videos with more hot rods, supercars, muscle cars, and you never know what else is coming through our door because we are vehicles for enthusiasts.